Hello, in this video, we will be discussing about money. What is money and what are its functions? Money is any item or variable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services or as repayment of theft. Now, if you want something worth 500 rupees, you go to the market, you get the thing from a shop and you give 500 rupee note to the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper accepts the 500 rupee note. The shopkeeper accepts the money because he know that 500 rupee note will be accepted by others also. To be effective, money relies on the collective trust and the belief that it will be accepted by others. Now, this is a 500 rupee note, and if you look at the sentence that is pointed by this red arrow, you can see that it is written here, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 500 rupee note. And there is the signature of the governor. So the bearer here refers to anyone who is in possession or who is holding the banknote. The promise signifies that the RBI guarantees the value of this piece of paper. It is a legal tender, meaning it can be legally used to settle debt or make payments equivalent to the value printed on it. So, the value, this is just a piece of paper. It has no intrinsic value. But on this piece of paper, there is the 500 rupee note is printed. So, what gives this money its value? That if you go to the market and buy something worth 500 rupee and you give this 500 rupee note, you will get your item, whatever you are buying worth 500 rupee, you will get your item, and in return, if you give this money to the shopkeeper will accept it. Now, what gives this piece of paper its value? The value, it lies on the promise. It lies on the promise that is given by the Reserve Bank of India, that if you buy something worth 500 rupee and you give this note to the shopkeeper will accept it. He cannot say that, no, I cannot take this money. He will not say, he will just accept this money. So the power of this money comes from the promise that is given by the RBI. Now, what are the functions of money? There are three core functions: medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. Now, the first function is medium of exchange. This is the most fundamental role of money. It serves as the instrument used to facilitate the sale, purchase, or trade of goods and services between parties. Now, medium of exchange. Here you can see that this boy, whose name is, let's say, Rohit, he wants pen and he goes to the shopkeeper and give this 10 rupee note to the shopkeeper, and in return, the shopkeeper gives this pen. The shopkeeper accepts the 10 rupee note, and now the shopkeeper goes to another shop where he wants pencil. He takes these two pencil and in return gives 10 rupee note to the shopkeeper. So if you remember, in barter there is a direct exchange of goods, but in here, as there is money, in here there is no direct exchange of goods, which creates the problem of double coincidence of words. There is no direct exchange of goods. In here, the money acts as a middleman. Rohit gives money to the shopkeeper and gets the pin. The shopkeeper accepts the money, and now the shopkeeper needs pencil. He goes to another shop and buys pencil and gives this 10 rupee note. So the money here acts as a middleman when doing trade. Money acts as a yardstick. Now, as you can remember, if you want to measure length, we use its units, for example, centimeter, meter, or kilometer. If you want to measure weight, we measure it in its units, for example, like gram and kilogram. If you want to measure the value of goods, we use its unit, and that unit is money. If you want to measure the value of any goods, we use money. For example, here you can see the bicycle is worth $200. The motorcycle is worth, as it is a motorcycle, it has bigger value. So the value, it is denoted by money, which is $6,000. The car, it has more value, $50,000. And the last, the house, which has again more value, it is $100,000. So here money acts as a yardstick. You can calculate or you can measure the value of goods with the help of money. So here we can clearly see that the bicycle is less valuable than the house. Store of value. So as I have discussed in my previous video, that in barter system there is a difficulty of storing goods, because if you are storing food items, it will become bad after a long period of time. You cannot store foods for a long period of time, but you can store money for a long period of time. The value of money does not decrease suddenly. Okay, so you can store money in your vault or in your bank. You can store its money, and when you retrieve the money for future use, you can be sure that the value of money does not decreases or it does not falls. So money helps in storing of value. And the last function, that is the fourth function, standard of deferred payment. Deferred payment refers to any arrangement where a buyer receives goods or services immediately but pays for them at a later date. Essentially, it is a form of credit. So, with the help of money, you can take loan. As the banks give you loan, let's say car loan or home loan, money helps in deferred payment. That is, you get something today and you can pay for that item at a later date. Since the value of money does not fall suddenly, so therefore it helps in deferred payment. If I give a loan to any of my friends and he guarantees to return the money after a certain period of time, I can be sure that even if he returns the money after a certain period of time, I will not be at a loss, because the value of money, I have that guarantee that the value of money will not fall suddenly. So this is the fourth function of money, and at last this is the end.